All right, so welcome back to another great video, and today I'm going to share with you 7 side hustles that you could do as a student. Stay tuned. All right, so if you're a student, it probably sucks because you're trying to make some money and you're trying to go to school and you're trying to get a good job eventually, and all of that is just more difficult. You don't have the experience and you're trying to work and people don't want to hire you, so there's a lot of problems that go with that. So in this episode, I'm going to share with you some side hustles and things you could do that actually make sense for you and maybe make some money on the side so that way you could continue to evolve, grow your personal financial life and situation. All right, let's get started. Number 1 is tutoring. It's probably the best suited for people who are in the educational space right now and you're trying to learn some stuff in college and maybe in high school and you go in and tutor some other kids. So this is a great win-win situation because you can leverage your education to teach other peers, students, young ones already, and it's a great fit. So for example, how much do math tutors charge? On average, a math tutor ranges from $25 to $80 an hour. Now, there's a lot of parents that are also interested in their kids getting tutored. So for example, if somebody's tutoring my kid, maybe my kid's struggling, well, maybe I don't need a $80 professional tutor. I might just need a high school student who's good at math, responsible, on time, and maybe I'll just pay them $20 an hour. They're happy, I'm happy, my child's happy. It's a win-win for everybody. Now, yes, of course, there's more professional math tutors with higher levels, higher degrees, and that kind of thing. But you, being a student, it should be fine if you're tutoring kids. Let's say you're in 12th grade, you might be able to tutor people in 8th grade. Let's say you're in college, first, second, or third year, you might be able to tutor people in high school or maybe a first year college student. So anyways, point being, tutoring is a great starting point. Let's take a look at number 2, and that is a translator. Translating to and from English can be done online or in person and arrange from documents to live conversations. Your language skills and speed will determine how much you can earn. So if you look at translator, average hourly wage for a translator in the US is about $24 an hour. Now, if you take a look at Fiverr and you're doing these gigs online, you know, there's people that'll translate like 500 words for $5. This could just take a few minutes of your time. Again, you might not get work every single minute, but you can see some people, they have 1,000 or so reviews, maybe at around $15 per item that they translate. So that could start to add up fairly quickly if you're definitely good with 2 languages. All right, let's check out number 3, which is kind of in the same boat, and that is a virtual assistant. It's basically a time-flexible online job. It's perfect for students. Virtual assistants do a range of work. It could be video editing, could be transcriptions, and you can earn some cash while taking on some business work and learning quite a bit of new things. Now, I will say I have a bunch of virtual assistants that help me out and do some things to make my personal life easier. For example, a lot of the people that do the PowerPoint slides here, they are virtual assistants. And sometimes they want to just do like a 3-month contract or a 1-month contract. And that's totally okay with me. It's just the nature of the business that I'm in is that the hired help that we have, I'm helping out a student and they're helping us out on the business side. We may have some longer term employees as well. But on a temporary note, we have some virtual assistants. And this is the kind of stuff they do. They make these PowerPoint slides, they do some research and so on. And here you can also be a virtual assistant. Again, pulling up Fiverr, you could see there's people that are willing to do these kinds of gigs. And what happens here is if you look at just the reviews, the amount of those reviews, sometimes, you know, they'll do a custom quote. So it's not to say that, you know, you're doing $10 an hour work and then you're getting 226 of them. It might be that, you know, there was a custom quote as well. Maybe for $300, we'll do X amount of work. So with time, this can add up because the virtual assistants, what's happening is that the clientele that you have is just there for the long haul. So I might have a virtual assistant for 3 months. I might start them out for just like a 1-week trial paid, but I might have them for 3 months, and that's where it starts to add up. You could also do things like, you know, blog writer if you have a specific task or skill that you're interested in, like unique SEO articles, blog posting, SEO content, that kind of stuff. So you could do that type of work as well. Also kind of in the virtual assistance space, but it's kind of getting more into the freelancing space. And this is kind of our number 4. Freelance your specialty skills. You can use skills you already have to make some cash. It could also be a handyman service like bookkeeping, video editing, gymnastics, coaching, piano. So take a look at what you can already do. So if you could already be a writer, Then you could write and do some of the freelancing. But if you could be more like a handyman or video edit or coaching gymnastics or piano, this could be a great arsenal. So again, if you're looking at doing a piano teacher, they're making about $51,000 a year or $24 per hour. Again, if you're teaching kids, maybe you're making $15 an hour. It just depends on what you're doing in the piano space. And if you're a student, you're young, you don't have maybe the clientele, you're willing to do it a little bit cheaper, and it's a win-win parent, student, you relationship. So definitely check those things out. The median salary, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, for a bookkeeper, let's just say you do some bookkeeping, you're looking at about $19 or about $20 an hour. So again, I'm not saying you have to be an accountant, but if you're good with like QuickBooks and organizing things, you're just a bookkeeper, right? You're not now necessarily an accountant where you're filing legal documents and paperwork for taxes. You're just doing the bookkeeping, organizing things where they need to go, the receipts, the spreadsheets, doing some reports, that kind of stuff. And that could also be some nice work. Again, it's a skill that you might have. Maybe you're good with software, some basic math, accounting, and stacking these things together really can pay off. You're doing some piano on the side, you're doing some math tutoring here, you're doing some other freelancing work there. All of a sudden, you got a lot of income streams that are starting to kind of come in. All right, let's take a look at number 5, and that is dog walking and pet sitting. So if you enjoy working with animals, then you could walk dogs or pet sit as people go on vacation. Maybe also they had a medical condition, maybe they broke their leg, so now they need somebody to help take care of their dog. Anyways, there's a site like rover.com where you could definitely check out people who basically board pets or house sit or drop-in visits. You can do doggy daycare or dog walking. So if you take a look at that, you basically can see there's a list. Now, I just put up a certain address. This one's in California. You can see there's some people that are willing to do it about $35 per night for a medium sized dog, and they might have an environment where you could just go in, drop off your dog, and you're kind of good to go. So this is one way of doing it. Obviously, you could go in and filter things, like instead of boarding, you could say dog walking, and then here's kind of dog walking in the neighborhood, and you can see a bunch of people here that are listed, and you can contact them and maybe build a relationship and connect with them. So anyways, this is one starting point. The other thing to think about is that basically when you look at just households, the percent of people that have pets may not necessarily be just dog related, but about 67% of US households have some form of a pet, or about 85 million families. So it's crazy when you look at the numbers, and it's quite huge. And, if you look at the type of animal, obviously the dog is the biggest, and then followed by cat as the second biggest. And then you have freshwater fish and so on and so forth. So there's also like birds, horses, reptiles, small animals, and much more. But dog walking, obviously, or dogs are kind of the biggest pet out there that most people have. It's the most common, and then followed by cats. So if you're into those two main animals, then you could probably find some sort of part-time work or supplemental income that you could make as a side hustle as you're kind of going to school or study. All right, let's take a look at the next one here. And this is number 6. This is lawn care and snow shoveling. So if you enjoy working outside, maybe cultivating gardens, there's plenty of work for lawn care services. Unfortunately, it is seasonal. So if you're in the north, but you can supplement it with snow removal. And if you just look at a survey here, NALP survey, 40% of Americans with lawn or landscape hired professionals in the last year. So that's quite a bit. And one good thing about that is you could just do 1 or 2 clients. So let's say you're doing lawn care in the summer, you could just do 1 or 2 clients, or you could do 5 or 10 clients. It's whatever you can kind of handle around your block or neighborhood, or if you have a car or truck that you could transport the machine, then you could obviously do more. The other great thing is if you're a student, remember, usually you're not in summer classes. So this gives you a chance to do some work during the summer and then not worried about like kind of leaving your job too much as you get into the winter time. Again, depending on your location, right? If you're in the Florida season, you're pretty much doing lawn service 10 months out of the year. But if you're more in North Carolina, maybe the grass is going to grow a lot less than it would maybe in Florida. So keep that in mind, that it's going to vary location to location. And then what you could do is, if you have some spare time, you could also do some snow shoveling, during the winter months if there's snow in your area or region. So again, something for you to consider depending on your personal location. All right, let's take a look at number 7, and this is our last one, and that's driving service or delivery. So if you have a car, there's tons of options out there to make some cash. There's like things like Uber, and then you have Lyft as well that you could do. And you could also do Uber Eats, which is grocery delivery. So there's quite a bit of side income you could do. The downside, of course, is even though you're making about $19.36 per hour when you factor in tips and bonuses, unfortunately, you are kind of an independent contractor, and then you also have to pay for your car repair, maintenance, gas, that kind of stuff. So you might actually, in the end, even though you're making about $19, $20 an hour, you might actually end up being, as far as the final total, it could be maybe around $10 to $12 per hour. But it's on your schedule, your terms. If you kind of go to school during the day and you want to do delivery driver at night, or even like midnight hours doing like airport runs, then that's another thing that you could consider. So all these sites, you know, they're going to vary depending on what you're actually location wise, because certain cities are a little bit more, certain cities are a little bit less. But you can see here, Uber and Lyft, the average is between $8.55 and about $12 an hour is really what it comes down to, because you do have those expenses. But again, great choice for students. Here you could see the Uber or Lyft website. There's also kind of the Uber website right there. So just you pop in your car details, your driving details, and you could sign up and do some driving for some people maybe that have a broken car ride, or that just need a lift to go somewhere. I know I've used it in the past for like airport rides, or when my car was getting repaired, I drop it off and just grab an Uber on the way back to the house, you know, for just like 20 bucks, and you're pretty much good to go. So anyways, I want to thank you so much for joining me. Hope you enjoyed this video and it gave you some thoughts and insights to getting some more side hustles in as you're being a student, as you're continuing to ramp up your future lifestyle, right? So I know we want to go quickly to getting a job and getting our degree and then start in the workforce and making a lot of money. But sometimes there's a bumpy road to get there, and some of these side hustles can ease that burden. So thanks for joining me. Hope it gave you some ideas. Feel free to check out our website to get some more ideas and continue watching some more videos on this channel. I'll see you next time.